failing me. Alright, we're going to start the recording right here. When that little circle goes away, there it is. Alright guys, today is Friday the 13th. It is the 13th of July 2012. We're going to go over the trades that we took in the live trading room, the trades we didn't take, the investments we made, all those sorts of things. Now, before I go any further, let me mention that we did something a little bit different this morning in the live trading room based on stuff that we did in the partners meeting last night. Okay, I'm going to go over that, and I may even go over what we covered in the partners meeting last night. If you have not taken a free trial with us, then you should go to www.cfrn.net/apply and sign up for the free trial. It really is free. There's no credit card required, none of that stuff. In the free trial, you get 5 days in the live trading room, 2 hours per day for 5 days, 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Okay. With that, you get all the indicators, all the data feeds, everything you see here. All right. It's a really simple process, and it's all good. If you are on a free trial and your trial is about to expire, you need to get in touch with me and let me know if you want to continue. Okay? I've sent, I believe, everyone whose trial is about to expire, I've sent an email to. You may or may not have gotten it. It may have gone into your spam folder. But just to cover everyone, if you're on a free trial and you want to continue, send an email to support@cfrn.net and let me know. All right. You can also call me. My phone number is all over the place. You can do that as well. All right. Now that said, we had a good partners meeting last night, as they usually are. And one of the things that I was showing in the partners meeting was how to use the slingshot to trade the crude oil without looking at price. All right. Now let me do this a little bit for you. All right. I'm going to cover the crude oil first, but I want to go back to what we showed in the partners meeting last night. Okay. You see this right here. 3-step direction to do it. Okay. You can see that. That's on the recording right now. All those arrows that you see right there are arrows that were drawn just looking at the slingshot, not looking at price. All right. I covered the whole day yesterday with it. We didn't have that many opportunities today. Of the opportunities that we had, they all worked or had break even. But right here, I'm just going to show you when you have a strong sloping cycle and the green line diverges from the direction of the cycle, but more importantly moves above the brown line, and then closes down in the same direction as the cycle is going. That's an opportunity right there. Now, doing this, I did all these arrows without looking at price, and everybody in the partners meeting last night saw me do it. And there it is right there, an opportunity to short. Okay. I'm only going to cover a couple of these right here. You see we had the same thing. Brown line's on the other side of the upsloping cycle. We have the green line going against it all and then going back toward it all. All right. And obviously you can see that that is going to be an up move. There you go. Okay. Now when you're doing this, you're not looking at anything on the price chart. Okay, on the price panel. You're not looking at anything up there. So, I mean, I showed everybody this last night, and I'm not going to go through every one of these right now, but I showed everyone in the partners meeting last night all these things, and I don't know how many there were here. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 17 we'll say. This right here was right at the end of the day. We'll say 16. This was close enough to the end of the day. One of those was a losing trade. I think it was one of these right over here, actually. One was a losing trade. 1 or 2 only made about 4 ticks profit, which on the crude oil, by the way, is $40 a contract. And the rest of them made more. We'll just say more. Usually 8 to 10 ticks. All right, so let's get into today. Right, I'm just going to scroll through here on the same, looking at the same indicator. This was a little earlier on in the morning right here, but this is a pretty good idea of what to look for. All right, you see right here we have a strong sloping line right there. There's two of them. One is this one right here. Oops. That arrow ended up pointing in the wrong spot. Right there when the green line closed down like that, and again right here when the green line closed down. The brown line is below the red, and that closed down and that closed down. Now I'm not looking at price. You guys can see this. I don't know what it did. That was pre-market, but I'm guessing that was a pretty good opportunity to get short right in here. Right here is where you would have shorted the first one, and right here is where you would have shorted the second one. The first one from the entry, let's say you entered at market, 87.16 is where the close of that bar was. We'll give you 2 ticks for the market entry, even 3 ticks, 87.13. It dropped down to 87.05, which is $80, or the equivalent of 1 3/4 points before it pulled back up. $80 a contract, all right, and that was just in a couple of seconds. This one, probably a couple of minutes at that time. The next one, the entry will say 87.03. Let's say you enter in at 87 even. We'll give you a few ticks for slip. Okay, that one dropped from 87 down to 86.81 for $190 a contract, and that one was in 2 minutes or so. All right, that's what we're looking at. That's what I showed the partners in the meeting last night. This morning, we took this trade right here, brown below a strong sloping cycle. Green moved away from it all and then moved back into it. I shorted right here and right here, and I actually only took 5 ticks profit. It gave more than 5, but I only took 5 because I moved my stop to +5 once it had started to really move. Okay, and the next one right here, on this one, it went right here, and when it moved to about +5 ticks, I moved my stop to break even, and I ended up getting out over here at break even. Okay, right in here on this bar right here, I think I ended up getting a break even on that one. Alright, I just wanted to go over that quickly. Okay, now as the morning went on, I took this short right here. This was a regular bullish divergence touch of the BBC with an up close. I took that, I'm sorry, not a short, it was a long. I took that long right there and I lost 8 ticks on that. I followed that up right here with a long trade, and I made 16 ticks on this. This had a bullish cross, a test of the BBC, and an up close, and it moved up 16 ticks right there. I took 16 ticks profit on that. I missed that trade, and I don't think I took any more trades on crude in the morning. All right, there were a couple more opportunities, but the crude really got kind of right in here. It was really messy. Okay, there was this opportunity right here, and then nothing down here was saying we should go long or short until we got over here where it was 11:09. That suggested a short, but at that point on a Friday the 13th, I was just thinking, you know what? I'm green. I'm just going to stay that way. You can see right here there was another opportunity, bullish divergence right in here. We had tested the BBC. The bullish divergence was right here. All right, so you look for the up close and you take some profit on it. It did it again right in here. This was during the break. Didn't really have much to go right in here, but the bullish divergence was right here. All right, so up it went. That was crude this morning. Okay, so did I go over the results yet? We are up 5 ticks on crude, 4 ticks on the ES, and 4 ticks on the NQ. All right, 5 ticks on crude, 4 ticks on the ES, and 4 ticks on the NQ. Let's move on to the next one, the ES. Now, this was the investment, all right, that we talked about, that Dwayne had just mentioned. Now, I didn't take this first trade right here because it was going into the weekly trading zone. I didn't have 2 points from where I would have had my entry to the zone. It's just in my trading plan not to do that, and I didn't. I had a pretty strong feeling that it was going to make it, but it's just in my trading plan not to do it, so I followed my plan. Okay, you can see right here when the entry actually happened, we had some good bullish divergence right here on the slingshot. And at that point, what you anticipate is this green line working its way up into the cycle. Okay? When you have this kind of divergence, either the green line is going to work its way into the cycle or the cycle is going to work its way into the green line. That's just what happens. Right? Now, in the next case, we actually took this trade. We went long here at 13.45 even. This trade took a very long time for me. A very, very long time. It went down as far as, it drew down as far as a point, while the cycle portion of the slingshot was working its way down to the green line. Now, the fact that it did that without dropping more than a point suggested to me that it was going to move up from there. All right? It did move up from there. It moved up a little bit. It moved up about 5 or 6 ticks in here. Once it moved up 6 ticks, I moved my stop up to plus 1 point. Once it moved up to plus 1 point, I moved my stop to break even. But once it moved to plus 6 ticks, I moved my stop to plus 1 point, which was right in here. All right, that took me out at plus 1 point. Oops, hang on. Bring my DOM over. There you can see plus 1 point there. Here's the plus 5 ticks on the crude. I'll show you the plus 4 ticks on the NQ. All right, that was it right there. That was my trade of the morning. Now, Dwayne stuck it out the whole time. He stuck it out. After putting in this bottom right here, I mean, you could have pretty much reduced your risk. You didn't have to have 8 ticks risk on that anymore. Maybe 5 ticks would have been enough, because if it drops below this level, it was going to go down to the zone and it would have stopped you out anyway. Fortunately, it didn't go down below that level. It went down near that level, and it started to move back up. All right, now right here, and this is significant. This is what Dwayne mentioned a few minutes ago. This is 11:30 when the European markets closed. Okay, we also close our live trading room in the morning, but right there at 11:30 is when the European markets closed, and that's when it made its move up. All right there is when it made its move up. It finally went up beyond 1 3/4 points to the 2-point target up here at 47. All right, and then it went beyond that. So if you entered here, you had 2 points there. If you entered here, you had an opportunity to take 1 point with me right here. And if you entered again when it pulled back again right here, or right over here, but this is the actual setup right here, you had an opportunity to take another 2 points right there. Okay, that was the ES on the morning. All right, now the YM. I didn't take any trades on the YM this morning, but 4 of them set up. I'll cover them. I know I had outlined them. Anyway, there were 4 trades that set up this morning after the open. All right, there was one right here at 9:32. Let me just make sure. Now that's yesterday. That's why I don't have them outlined. There we go. Did I move too fast? Anyway, there were 4 opportunities to trade the YM this morning. One was right in here. Okay. We had bearish divergence, a test of the BBC with a down close. That was one spot. There was another one right in there. Test of the BBC with a down close with some bearish divergence. That one didn't go very far, but at least it went somewhere. The next opportunity was right here. Again on the short side, a test of the BBC with a down close with the bearish divergence. All right, and the next opportunity after that was on the long side. We had right over here, we had a test of the BBC. We had a test of the BBC. After getting a bullish cross at the MA1 over the BBC right here, the price came back down, tested the BBC, and gave an up close with the bullish divergence. All right, when I talk about the bullish divergence, what I'm talking about is the cycle portion of the slingshot being bullish, being oversold, and the green line portion of the slingshot pulling away from it and then moving back up into it. Okay, that was pretty much it. There was another one right here, but 1, 2, 3, 4. We got into the afternoons, not the whole afternoon. Okay, there were 5 of them. Right there was the last opportunity on the YM. I didn't trade the YM at all this morning, though. You see, we had the bullish divergence right here. Okay, I guess the last time I counted this morning there were 4. Now there's 6 or 8. 6. We had in this one right here, we had the MA1 cross down below the BBC. Price pulled back up and tested the BBC, and at the time we had the bearish divergence on the slingshot. All right, so you would have looked for the down close. That one didn't go too far. The next one was over here. Once we had the bullish cross, tested the BBC with an up close with the bullish divergence. So you would have been looking for the up close and gotten long right in there for the ride up. All right, right now we have bearish divergence, and it's tested the BBC right there and given a down close. So the spot to short that would be right there at 12,684. Okay, that's already given 4 ticks profit. And that was the YM. So I covered everything but the NQ so far. Let me just cover the NQ, and I'll wrap up my recording here. Okay. I didn't take many trades on the NQ this morning. What I wanted to point out was the NQ had the same type of setup that I went over in the partners meeting last night. I'll show you right here. There were 2 of them this morning right at the open. One was right here. You see the brown is below the cycle portion of the slingshot. The brown is below that. The green turned back into the slingshot, and then it diverged from it. Okay, it diverged from the actual direction of the cycle. It started to, and then it turned back into the direction of the cycle right here. That would have been the spot to short. It would have been right there. Okay, and that went 8 to 10 ticks. The next one was right here, the same thing, just in the opposite direction. You see the brown is now above the cycle portion of the slingshot, and the green line came against the brown and the cycle, and then turned back into it. All right, so the spot to get long on that was right there. Then we had just a regular normal test of the BBC with an up close with the bullish divergence right here. Okay, spot to get long on that was right there. The next trade was right here. We had bullish divergence, another test of the BBC with an up close. I got long right there, and I took a break even right there. There it is. Over here, I got short right here. We had bearish divergence with the green line pulling away from the cycle portion. Right. The MA1 moved below the BBC. Price pulled back up to the BBC and tested it and gave a down close. The price to short was right there, and that is where I shorted right there. Okay, I took some profit right down there. There was another opportunity in there, and there were bunches of opportunities in here on the NQ during the morning. All right, here was another one, and there was another one. All the same stuff. We went into the break right here, but here was during the break right there. All right, there's the long trade. Here's another one. This one wasn't as good because the cycle was red and started to turn down. But right there, all right, and that's pretty much it. All right, the YM trade that I mentioned to you a few minutes ago, right now is sitting right about break even. All right, but you had your bearish cross, you tested the BBC with a down close, it gave 4 ticks profit, and then it came back up to break even. What you would anticipate with this is this green line right here turning over and coming down, working its way into the cycle portion of the slingshot. Okay. Nick says, seems like you were wanting to counter trend trade this huge move today on the YM. No, I'm not wanting to counter trend necessarily. Not in the time frame I'm working in. All right, all the trades I take, well, I say almost all the trades I take are trend trades. I do realize that we had a big move up on the YM, and there were plenty of trend trades on the way up. One right there, one right there, one right there, one right there. There were also opportunities on the way down before we realized that it was going to be a huge move up. Okay. What I trade is what's in front of me. So that's pretty much it. All right. If anybody else has any other questions, just type them in and I'll answer them. If not, then you can send any questions to support@cfrn.net, and either Dwayne or myself will get back to you on that. And I'm going to wrap up the recording here because I know we got to get out to Vegas, and then we have a special guest coming on in a few minutes. All right.